Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. This is the Chow Dawg, and today we are making chicken marsala. But before we do, please subscribe, like, give us a thumbs up. Let's get to the kitchen. I'm gonna, using boneless, skinless chicken breasts, I'm gonna go ahead and wash these up off camera and get them all ready and prepped, so I'll be right back. Now that I've washed my chicken, I just wanna make sure my kitchen stays clean, so I am gonna lay these out on some plastic wrap, and then I'm gonna cover them with another piece of plastic and then pound those out. Feel free to do it whatever way you want to do it in your kitchen. Just whatever it takes to not make a mess. You can use a rolling pin or a frying pan if you don't have a kitchen mallet. I do, so I'm just gonna pound these out to about 1/4 of an inch, or maybe even 1/2 of an inch if you know, your choice. And then we're gonna season these up. I'm gonna be using some salt, pepper, some garlic, and some onion powder. Feel free to use whatever combination of seasoning you want to with your chicken. As a reminder, I'm gonna provide a list of ingredients and exact measurements in the description of this video. There will be a link, so feel free to check that out. Just be sure to get these well seasoned, and we're just gonna give it a good press down and repeat the same process on the opposite side. So nothing hard here, just giving a good base layer of flavor. All right, now that we finished with our chicken breasts, we're gonna set them to a side for a moment. I'm gonna peel and chop 2 shallots. Right about that should be fine. I'm gonna use about 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. If you have fresh, just be sure to slice them about that size. This is some just white flour, regular white flour. I'm just gonna season it up real good. Again, coming back with my base layer of salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder. I'm gonna add a little bit of paprika. Feel free to season your flour however you like. One of the things I like to use when I'm cooking chicken is some Italian seasoning. I just think it wakes the flour up and gives it a little bit of extra flavor. Again, use the seasonings that you feel comfortable with. Just make sure to give it a good stir and make sure your flour is well seasoned. After that, we're gonna come back and you're simply gonna dredge our flour, our chicken in that flour a couple times, making sure we catch any bare spots for a good even frying. Then I'm gonna allow it to sit out on a plate for a few minutes while my oil is heating up. That will allow that flour to adhere to it more, and we won't lose a lot of flour in our frying pan. Once our oil has been reheated up to 350 degrees, just be sure to carefully lay your chicken breast in the pan away from you, so that if it splashes just like that, you won't get yourself hurt. Just like that. I probably could have went with a little less oil, but hey, you know. This is after about 3 minutes. Folks, the trick here is not to cook the chicken breast all the way. You don't really have to at this point. Just want to get it where it gets a nice breading on it. And it will continue to cook once we add it back to the sauce. So right now, cook it, until you get that desired look you want, which looks like this. This is about 4 minutes per side. I'm just gonna take these out, let the excess oil drain off. I'm just gonna set them aside on a plate. They're about 140 degrees right now. So once we add them back to that sauce, we're gonna let them cook to about 160 degrees, 165 degrees, and that'd be great. I've drained my oil. I set for about 2 tablespoons, and I added 2 tablespoons of butter back to it. Gonna add the mushrooms to the pan. I'm just gonna give these a stir until they break down and are good. And they should look about like this. Once they look like this, I'm gonna go ahead and add those 2 shallots to the mushroom. Again, I'm gonna give this a good stir, and I'm gonna cook those shallots until they become good and translucent. This may take about 3 to 5 minutes. Just be sure to give it a good stir and keep it moving so that it don't burn. All right, now that my onions are translucent, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of this Better Than bouillon. I'm using the roasted garlic base, but you can use whichever one. You can find this in your soup aisle of any grocery store. I like to add this at this point versus adding it with the liquids, because I like the way it infuses with the mushrooms and onions and gives it a really good flavor. After that, I'm going to add just about a good tablespoon of some garlic, some minced garlic. If you want to, you can use fresh garlic for this. I had some garlic in the refrigerator, so I went with mine. And now we're going to add our Marsala cooking wine. This is probably about 3/4 of a cup. Once again, I'm going to include a list of the ingredients and the exact measurements via a link in the description, so feel free to check that out. But I'm going to add the Marsala cooking wine. I'm going to give this a stir until everything is well incorporated. Bring it to a simmer now. Cook off some of that alcohol. I'm then going to go back in with some heavy whipping cream. Now that heavy whipping cream is going to serve as a thickening agent for my sauce. So I'm going to make sure that is well incorporated. And I'm going to allow this to simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes before I add my chicken stock. Now, if you're don't have the Marsala cooking wine in the earlier step, in this step right here, instead of adding your chicken stock, you could add regular wine, cooking wine, and that would have made it a good the basis of Marsala. But since we had Marsala wine in the earlier steps, I used chicken base. I then came back, I tasted my sauce, I seasoned it to taste the way I liked it, add a little bit of red pepper flakes just for my liking, and then I'm adding my chicken cutlets to the sauce. Again, they're at about 140 degrees now, so I just need to let them cook until they get about 165 degrees, which they're done at that point, and they'll be right nice and tender. Along the way, I'm just going to be basting them with the sauce and the mushrooms, just to make sure that it all stays tender. No need to flip them at this point, just keep basting them. This whole process takes about 20 minutes. Now, I choose to serve mine over some mashed potatoes, as you can see here, but you can serve this with noodles, with rice. It all works well. Again, the chicken is very tender at this point. I'm just coming in with some of the sauce from the pan and making it some nice food porn for my presentation and just making it look good. Folks, this is a great recipe. It's really simple to make. It takes about less than an hour to make, but feel free to visit my cooking channel, cookingwithchefmarty.com, for more recipes like this. I appreciate you for tuning in. Again, subscribe, like my channel, and hey, I will see you in the next video. God bless.